Chapter 10.8, Equations of Circles. In this chapter, we're going to learn how to write the standard form of equation of a circle. For the circle, we're going to let HK stand for the center. So the center will be the point HK, where H is the X value and K is the Y value of our point. And R will stand for the radius. So if I gave you x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16, then looking at the equation of our circle, this would be our h, this would be our k, and this would be the radius squared. So the center of our circle would be 3, 2, and the radius would be the square root of 16, which is 4. In the first problem, I'm asked to write the equation of a circle with center at negative 3, and a radius is 6. This is our h, this is our k, and the radius is 6. So x minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus a negative 3 quantity squared equals 6 squared. So the equation of the circle with center at 3, negative 3, and a radius of 6 would be x minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals 36. For problem B, we're given a graph and asked to write the equation of the circle. Looking at the graph, our center would be 1, 3. So our center would be 1, 3. The radius is 2. Our equation then would be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 2 squared, or x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 4. The next problem, we're asked to write the equation of a circle with center at 2, negative 4. So the center is at 2, negative 4. This is our h, and negative 4 is our k. And a radius of 4, so the radius squared would be 16. Since h is 2, we would have x minus 2 squared plus y minus a negative 4 squared, which give us x minus 2 plus y plus 4 squared, and the radius squared would be 16. So in the first one, it's set up right with the x minus 2 and the y plus 4, but we have the radius and not the radius squared. The second one has an x plus 2. C has x minus 2 plus y plus 4 squared equals 16, so the answer would be C. In the next problem, we're asked to write the equation of the circle graph to the right. Here, 0, 3 is the center. So the center is 0, 3. So that's our h and our k. Our radius would be 1, 2, 3. So the radius is 3. Radius squared is 9. So we would have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9. X minus 0 is x, so the first term would be x squared. A has x squared and y plus 3 and just the radius, so it doesn't work. The next one has the y minus 3, but again, it's just the radius and not the radius squared. C has y plus 3, so that doesn't work. So D is the answer. X squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9. The next one, we want to write the equation of the circle that has a center at negative 3, negative 2, and passes through 1, negative 2. So they gave us the center, and they gave us a point on the center, And what we still need to find is the radius, and the radius would be the length or the distance between the center and the point on the circle. So the radius would equal, using the distance formula, -3 minus 1 squared plus -2 minus a -2 squared. So that would give us -4 squared plus 0 squared. So the radius would be rad 16, which is 4. So the equation of the circle would be x minus a -3, so x plus 3 squared, plus y minus a -2, which would give us y plus 2 squared. The radius is 4, so the radius squared would be 16. Next problem asks us to write an equation in the circle that has its center at -1, 0 and passes through 3, 0. So we need to find the distance between those 2 points to find the radius. -1 minus 3 squared plus 0 minus 0 squared. So r would be the square root of -4 squared. So r would equal the square root of 16, which equals 4. So r squared is 16. It would be x minus a -1 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 16, which would be x plus 1 squared plus y squared equals 16. And that would be answer A. The next problem, we're going to use a method of factoring that you learned in Algebra 1, which is called completing the square. If I look at what they give me for the equation of the circle, they give me x squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 6y equals -9. I'm going to combine the terms that have x together and the terms that have y together. So I will have x squared minus 4x plus blank, so I can start to complete the square, plus y squared plus 6y plus blank equals 9. And then I have the 2 items that will be in my blank that I have to add. To complete the square, I drop this sign here and just look at the 4. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I'll write 2 squared there, but since I added 4 on this side of the equal sign, I also have to add 4 here. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 3 squared. Since I added 9 here, I'll have to add 9 on this side also. To finish completing the square, the first term I bring down is x, then I bring down the negative and the 2, so x minus 2 squared plus y. Bring down the sign plus here, plus 3 squared equals -9 plus 9 is 0 plus 4 equals 4. So off of this, I now know that the center is 2, -3, because this is my h, and rewriting this with a minus. This would be my k, and the radius is the square root of 4, which is 2. So to graph this, one, two, 1, 2, 3. The center is at 2, -3. The radius is 2, so I go up 2, over 2, over this direction to the left 2, and then down 2. And there's the graph of my circle with center at 2, -3, and radius 2. The next problem asks us which of the following is the graph of x squared plus y squared minus 10y equals 0. There's only one term that has x in it, so that's x squared. There are two terms with y in it, so I'm going to isolate those and have to complete the square on the y value equals 0. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared, so I'll need to add 25 to this side. X squared plus y, bring down that sign, and then the 5 squared equals 25. So my center is, well, the x is by itself, so it's 0. This would be my k, so 5. And the radius is the square root of 25, which is 5. So my center is 0, 5. Looking at answer A, the center is 0, 0, so that's not going to work. Looking at answer C, the center is at 0, negative 5, and I know it's difficult to read, but you can count down and see that the y value is negative 5, the x value is 0, so that one's out. Looking at problem B, counting up again, I have 5 here, my x value is 0. I can count over and see that the radius is 5, so the answer would be B. Here is asking you to find the intersection between x squared plus y squared equals 32 and the line y equals x plus 8. Just so we can see what that means, I included a graph in this to show that this circle and the line intersect at the point negative 4, 4. But we need to show this algebraically. So we do have a system of two equations. X squared plus y squared equals 32, and y equals x plus 8. We have solved systems equations in this class and in Algebra 1. This one's a little different because we have x squared and y squared. But I'm going to take this x plus 8 and put it in for our y. So I have x squared plus x plus 8 squared equals 32. X squared plus, I'll need to use our pattern on x plus 8 squared, or you will FOIL it out. Our pattern would be the first term squared, multiply these two terms together, 8x, and then double it using this sign. So 8 times x is, and then double would be 16x, and then square last term. So I'll have x squared plus 16x plus 64 equals 32. Combining like terms, I'll have 2x squared plus 16x plus 64 equals 32. Subtract 32, I'll have 2x squared plus 16x plus 32 equals 0. There is a GCF, which is 2. So x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 0. This would factor as x plus 4 times x plus 4 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0 would give us that x equals negative 4. It's actually a double root. So if x equals negative 4, y equals x plus 8, so negative 4 plus 8. So y would equal 4, and that would be our intersection point, negative 4, 4. On the next problem, we'll need to change one of the numbers. We will need to change 16 to 8. So we're going to look at the intersection between x squared plus y squared equals 8 and y equals negative x. So doing the same method that we used in the previous problem, we'll do x squared plus negative x squared, or the opposite of x squared, equals 8. Now, is x squared equal to the opposite of x squared? Well, anything that we square turns positive, so the answer is yes, that x squared is equal to the opposite of x squared. Just plugging in some numbers, we can look at 2 squared, and we can look at negative 2 squared. Well, 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which is also 4. So we have that x squared plus x squared equals 8. 2x squared equals 8. So x squared equals 4. Continuing to solve this, if I rad both sides, I have to remember to put the plus or minus, and we've discussed that a lot this year, that in most of these answers we're looking for length, so we would drop the negative. But as I keep explaining, as you go into Algebra 2 and beyond, you'll need to remember to always put the plus or minus when you square both sides. So in this case, we have that x equals plus or minus 2. And we need to keep both of those in mind. So if x equals positive 2, then since y equals the opposite of x, y would equal negative 2. And if x equals negative 2, then y would have to equal 2. So we have two solutions to this problem. We have 2, negative 2, and negative 2, 2. Those would be both solutions. So this was very important that you didn't forget to do the plus or minus when you rad both sides. So that concludes Lesson 10-8.